Welcome back to the Creighton Basketball Newsletter. I'm Jon Nyatawa with the Omaha World-Herald. Here to talk some Creighton basketball news in May. The offseason continues. I think the biggest item of note last week, since I last recorded one of these videos for the newsletter, was it came in the form of a tweet from Coach Greg McDermott. He announced on Twitter that assistant coach Alan Huss is going to remain with the program in his current position as an assistant coach. Alan Huss, former Blue Jay, hired in 2017 as the assistant coach, as an assistant coach for the Jays. And he was getting targeted by other programs this offseason. As well, we know the other members of Creighton's staff were as well, because Paul Lusk took the same job at Purdue, and Terrence Renshaw took a similar position at Oklahoma State. And Alan Huss had an opportunity to take some bigger jobs, potentially make a little bit more money. Illinois was reportedly one of the teams that was looking into hiring Alan Huss, but on Saturday, Coach Greg McDermott had tweeted that Alan Huss is staying. So it's obviously good news for Creighton's program. Coach Huss has essentially he was the lead recruiter on probably about 70% of Creighton's scholarship roster at this point. So he played a critical role on the recruiting trail over the last couple of years for Creighton, and obviously the Jays have elevated their profile from a recruiting perspective, and Alan Huss has been a big part of that. I mean, we've talked already a ton about Creighton's 2021 recruiting class, the best in at least modern history, recent history for the Jays, since the online recruiting sites have been tracking this stuff and ranking players. This is the best class Creighton's had. And last year, 2017, the Jays, I guess that was pre-Alan Huss there in 2017, but Creighton's been on an upper trend from a recruiting perspective, and like I said, Coach Huss has been part of it. Not the sole factor there, but obviously, Creighton's success on the court kind of leads to, or maybe opens some doors there. But you got to have guys that are able to communicate your vision and sell guys on sell that, make that pitch sort of hold firm, and Coach Huss is one of those coaches who can do that. So having him back, I think it helps too, just because Creighton's entering a really critical stretch from a recruiting standpoint. Once the dead period ends on June 1, Creighton can invite recruits on campus for official and unofficial visits. Eventually, there will be NCAA. I guess I don't know. The coaches will be allowed to attend events where they can evaluate prospects. So NCAA sanctioned, that's kind of the terminology I was looking for. There's going to be some events in June, and then the grassroots AAU circuit. It'll continue into July, and you'll have some good scouting opportunities for Creighton, which is, I think it's pretty paramount to what Creighton does. The Jays, one of the reasons why they've been so successful lately on the recruiting trail is they've targeted guys really early in the process and had a pretty good it's just been really organized of who they're going to go after, what guys fit well from a personality standpoint, from a stylistic standpoint. So they do their homework on the recruiting trail, and to not have, in-person scouting, I think for another summer would have been really tough for the Jays. And so they'll get to see some of these 2022 prospects that they've already been interested in and in contact with. They'll get to see them live, and then move on to 2023 and even 2024. So that'll be important, and to not have to hire another assistant coach, Greg McDermott. Like, he's already hired 2, but if Coach Huss would have taken another job, or would have taken another job, that he would have been in the hiring process again. And you would have maybe been a little bit behind going into June. So that was an interesting development over the weekend that I want to address. And let's see, I think the next item of note is Creighton's roster. The Jays currently have 11 scholarship guys on the team. The opportunity to add 2 more, and what are they going to do? Are they going to use those spots? I think it's the storyline sort of that we're following over the next couple weeks, next 3 weeks into June. I don't know. We could these guys, players, whether it's reclassifying or finding guys on the international scene, or late additions to the transfer portal, it does seem like there's always movement into the summer. So we'll continue to monitor that. I think one player to watch is Trey Alexander. He's a former Auburn commit, 2021 recruit, so he would be an incoming freshman. He tweeted last week that he got an offer from Creighton and that the Jays sort of are pursuing him. He's from Oklahoma, 6'4" shooting guard. And the reason why it's notable to me, at least, is just because that is a position that Creighton has been looking for this offseason, a sort of a go-to scorer type profile of a player, a guy who can just get buckets. And, we go back to March when Ty Washington, who's now a 5-star headed to Kentucky, would have been the prize recruit within the 2021 class. He decommitted, but you look at his game and what he can do from scoring at all three levels. He can create for others. He's kind of like a combo guard, but if you need someone to make a shot, he's that guy, or he could turn into that guy in college. And so I think that's the type of player that Creighton has its eyes on, and I think Trey Alexander also fits that mold. So we'll follow his recruitment, and then I do think still that Creighton will be on the lookout for a big man. It's just a matter of if there's a transfer that fits well or another route, we'll find out. But that's kind of what I'm looking at this week. I'm going to write this. You'll see it as linked to this newsletter video. If you've subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, by the way, do it. Omaha.com/newsletters. Omaha.com/newsletters. Really easy place to go and just click a little button and you're locked in, and you can get these weekly alerts for the written version of the newsletter. This week's topic is recruiting, Creighton's class, and how it compares to the rest of the Big East. And I actually think it's going to be a really fun year in the conference because there's a lot of talent entering the league. And now this league's been a developmental league over the years. The older you are, the more experienced you are. Normally that leads to more success. Creighton's not the only one that's developed players. A lot of programs have helped guys who maybe have been under the radar before coming in really blossom and turn into stars. So it's in that context that suddenly the league gets this influx of freshman talent, and I'm curious to see how all these guys perform. And obviously I know Creighton fans are really excited about these young kids that are going to join the program because, like I said, it's a really highly touted recruiting class. So plenty of stuff to follow. We're still in May, so next month in June, that's when Creighton's team will reconvene for some team workouts to get back on campus and get some start that process of gelling and building some chemistry, which I think is really important this summer for this group. It was one of the traits and keys to the last core nucleus of guys, their ability. They were so tight-knit and committed to one another, and now this new team has to kind of form that same bond, and new leaders need to emerge. And so this summer is going to be really crucial. So that's also something that we're going to be tracking as well. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for subscribing. Again, if you haven't, do it, please. Thank you. And also, if maybe consider too a subscription to the Omaha World-Herald. Got plenty of really great deals going on right now. So you can support my work that way. That's the best way, honestly, to do it. But also the work of my colleagues who are putting together some really amazing stuff, not just in the sports world, but keeping you informed from a news perspective as well. So appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you. And we'll be back next week.